Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. Yes, today has come. The day has come when you have two collective groups, most arguably, I would say the most loyal cult-like groups out there on Earth. Tesla bugs and Bitcoin bugs, and now we are one big family. Yes, Tesla has declared, or Elon, I should say, has declared they have bought Bitcoin. Not just a few, $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. This is the headline news, and this is what everyone is talking about. You cannot ignore how big this occasion is. This could really set things off in a way we can't even imagine. This is something that I've been talking about for weeks, if not months, and it's finally here. So in today's stream, I'm going to talk about what is coming, of course, talk about what was announced, why Tesla did this, what this go do to Bitcoin, what's next for Bitcoin and for altcoins, right? And just have a general discussion about everything else that's going on. This is monumental, so this is going to be a good stream, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the likes, smash it up, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you don't miss out on any of my streams, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and at night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I did have one yesterday. Obviously, Dogecoin, Super Bowl. I mean, people aren't even talking about the Super Bowl anymore because everyone's talking about Bitcoin now and Tesla. So, but yesterday's game was a blowout game, and you have the GOAT winning another championship. But you know what? That news, I mean, it just pales in comparison to what's going on today. So let's get started. Those of you guys that's already tuned in, welcome. Super chat already, appreciate it. So let's take a look here. Changing my screen. Bitcoin is at 43,100. It was as high as 45,000 before it came back down, and it's taking a breather. Now, there's a specific reason why it did come down and why it's not at 50,000 yet, and hopefully we get to the bottom of it and put a stop to it too. But right now, as you can see, Bitcoin was kind of doing its thing, right? It broke 40,000 recently, kind of hovered below, obviously a much better place than a few weeks ago when it was hovering around 30,000. But we knew that it was just a matter of time of breaking. And of course, the Elon effect is real and shot up Bitcoin about 4,000 points. This is massive, not only because of the pump today, but what's coming next. There's just a lot coming next. Of course, let's just recap what has happened. This morning it was announced that Bitcoin did buy $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin already, right? So, of course, he's taking Michael Saylor's playbook, buying behind the scenes, right? And not letting anyone know about it until it was done. But not only that, I think the other big news is that in the near future, Tesla will allow Bitcoin as a payment. So if you want to buy your new Model S Plaid Plus for $140,000, which pretty soon will probably be one Bitcoin, and soon after that will be half a Bitcoin to buy that. Well, you can in the near future, but I do have something to say about that in a little bit. So these two things are pretty big. Tesla only has about 20 billion of cash on hand. So if you think about that, that's about 5% of their cash reserves. And not only that, they have declared that they can actually buy more as time goes on. Basically, stealing Michael Saylor's playbook. This is what I was saying. I created a video about a month ago when Michael Saylor, right, was having conversations with Elon over Twitter, right? And I said, I guarantee you they had that phone conversation. I guarantee you they already talked, right? But, hype was building around Bitcoin for corporations that happened recently. But I said that had to have happened, right? And it did. It did because basically if you read through this is almost the same thing, like the same terminology, almost the same words as what MicroStrategy recently put out in terms of what their updated policy, basically. So To quote, in January 2021, we update our investment policy to provide us with more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash that is not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. As part of the policy, we may invest a portion of such cash in certain specified alternative reserve assets. Yes. Therefore, we invested in an aggregate $1.5 billion in Bitcoin under this policy. Moreover, we expect to begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future, subject to applicable laws and blah, 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 right? And this does not limit them. This basically opens up. So you know how MicroStrategy recently has been buying 10 million Bitcoin here, 10 million Bitcoin here, 10 million Bitcoin, whatever. Tesla could do the same thing. Now, there's a lot more scrutiny, and I'm going to show you a few clips from CNBC guys that seem to have a big problem with this. But you know what? Tesla, with Elon, now that he has done it, the world knows, he's going to do whatever the hell he wants, right? If Bitcoin gets weak or he wants to buy more Bitcoin, he's just going to tweet out, I bought $100 million more worth of Bitcoin, right? That could just come at a spur of a moment at any time, basically. So, yeah, this is obviously enormous. And I do think, Michael Saylor, kind of like, if you think about it, Bitcoin, like from now on, it's like a big relay race. Now, of course, Bitcoin was not created by corporations, not created by big institutions, created by a group of developers, maybe one or a few that named themselves Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And people really carried it to a point where it seemed like it needed a little help. And that's where the new Bitcoin Jesus, Michael Saylor, came in. And he started a relay race, basically. I would say this relay race is up to $1 million, if not more, right? Michael Saylor took a leap of faith, put all his money into Bitcoin, shocked the world, then revealed his playbook to everyone. And now that has opened up the floodgates. So now with Tesla declared that they bought Bitcoin, Tesla is the next partner of this relay race. They have taken it over, right? But it's not as simple as that. There's many people that's waiting to take the baton. There has been a lot of hedge funds already, a lot of wealthy investors already, right? And soon after Tesla, there's going to be another person to take the baton, and another, right? It's just if you're not into Bitcoin right now, or you still don't believe in it, you need to really open up your mind, because this is really monumental. And in a few years, when Bitcoin is at $1 million plus, they're going to make a lot of documentaries about how it got here, right? Michael Saylor will be a big part of that, and Elon will be a big part of that. I think Elon will be a big part of that, and who knows who's coming after this. But I do have some guesses that I could share with you guys. All right, so what else is there? Everything's about Tesla today, really. This morning, all the top exchanges experienced difficulties because so many people wanted to buy. So many people wanted to buy. And I know, Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, and a few others, they had problems. I don't know if they're fully operational. Even my portfolio app was down, and there's just a lot of things happening today, right? So hopefully they come back up and the buying continues. Now, why did Bitcoin though not just fly to 50,000, right? So you can see it's coming down a little bit, right? That's fine. Even if it falls down to 40,000, that'd be fine. But obviously, we would like to hold it here and build upon here. But why is there more selling though, right? Is some people taking profits? Well, I tweeted this out. Unfortunately, this morning, there was a correlation. And I'm talking about F2 pool. So you could see that when this morning, this is delayed by a few hours, but this morning when it shot up, you could see who decided to sell a little bit. Well, yeah, our friends at F2 pool. So obviously at this point, it could be the miners, it could be F2 pool. It could be a combination of both, where they're just taking profits. Taking profits is fine. They want to take profits. That's their own business. That's fine, right? But the whole point of this is that if you have one pool that could be causing some price suppression or manipulation and trying to profit from shorting by dumping Bitcoins, that's a problem, right? That's why I've been saying I'm going to watch them. They've been pretty low. Their overall sells over the past few days have been very, very tame compared to the previous sells. But as you can see, two big candlesticks, so sells have picked up a little bit. So this is something we need to worry about. Not worry, but watch. Because if this continues and it starts shooting up like this, right, then we know there's a lot of selling pressure coming in. Right now, no, very early. You can see the bars afterwards have shrunk a little bit. But I just want to point that out, right? There were more profit taking this morning. Probably the reason why Bitcoin didn't shoot up to 50,000 automatically, right? And some people may be taking some profits right now. Also, to, buy altcoins right now. So that could also be the case, right? So just there's a number of things that's going on right now. But overall, Bitcoin is obviously going in a very, very right direction. Now, I did mention about what may be coming next. Who could be following? Who could be taking the baton from Tesla and taking over? Well, there's two obvious choices, and they happen to be the two of the biggest companies on Earth. One of them is the biggest company on Earth, and that is Apple. And I have suspected this or spread the rumors about this too, and it just makes sense. Apple, they have Apple Pay, right? Apple Pay is trying to compete with the big dogs like PayPal and Square, Cash App, and credit cards in general, any kind of financial app, right? That's what Apple Pay is in the business of competing with, right? So it makes sense that they would be introducing Bitcoin to Apple Pay in the near future, right? Even Visa has come out and declared that they're working with banks so that people can actually buy Bitcoin utilizing the Visa network very easily, right? And Visa, obviously, they're a big part of Apple Pay. So I think this is all coming in, right? Apple may not declare that to go buy Bitcoin, but it wouldn't be far-fetched at this point. Tesla is a top 10, Fortune 10 company, right? So Apple has to watch out. If Tesla continues to gain momentum, Tesla's going to be the big company, the number one company in the world, right? So who knows? Apple, last time I checked, had about 300 billion of cash. 300 billion of cash, just sitting there, right? As Michael Saylor said, any kind of cash like that sitting there is you're just losing money due to inflation. Your buying power keeps getting less. And Apple is in a unique situation. They can't just buy out all the other companies due to antitrust issues. They can't just go buy gold because that'll make them look outdated. So what are they going to do with that? Well, maybe they take 5% of that 300 billion, just like Tesla, and utilize that to buy Bitcoin and then offer Bitcoin trading like PayPal because they need to have Bitcoin on hand to offer that. And they allow Bitcoin as a payment mechanism within Apple Pay. That could all be coming right after this, right? And that would be, I would say, maybe even bigger, bigger news than this. And keep in mind, I mentioned at the very beginning of the stream, the two biggest, cult-like followings, right? Tesla and Bitcoin. You know what? Who's third? Who's third after that? Apple. Apple bugs can't get enough of Apple, right? Apple people will stay with Apple forever. So now, then you have three of the most cult-like followers together. And just imagine that. It's just mind-boggling, right? I think that's coming. That's coming sooner than later. Just like I said, Tesla was going to enter the game sooner than later, right? Sooner than anyone expected. Well, here it is. Start of the new year, basically, right? We're getting this news. Imagine 2021, what else is coming? And keep in mind, Bitcoin for corporations just ended last week. And Michael Saylor expects an avalanche of firms to own Bitcoin. I do too. I've been promoting that conference for a while, hyping it up because I think it's enormous. Not only is Tesla getting involved, but you had 2,000 other companies attend this conference. Why do you think they're attending? Because they're interested in buying Bitcoin. That's simply it. They want to know how to buy it. They want to know how to buy it without causing the price to go up. They want to know how to buy it and not trigger any SEC, I don't know, regulations or whatever, right? There was a lot of legality, finance stuff, accounting stuff that was talked about. So yeah, it's gonna get better, guys. It's gonna get much, much, much better. And guess what? After Apple, you know who's gonna come next? Well, that's Amazon. You know, this all lines up. Guess what? Maybe Jeff Bezos wasn't so sold on Bitcoin, but guess who is sold? His replacement, Andy Jassy. Andy Jassy is a tech guy, pure tech guy, ran AWS, Amazon's cloud division, and he's the one that created their blockchain nodes, right? So he knows all about Bitcoin and crypto. Again, Amazon, like Apple, sitting on like $100 billion worth of cash. Where are they going to do with that cash? They're not going to buy gold with that. They can't just buy out any company they want, again, due to antitrust issues, right? So what are they going to do? Maybe they put some of that also into Bitcoin and allow Bitcoin to be accepted as a payment. That could be coming right after Apple, right? So just, you see the domino effect. And these are the biggest companies on earth, right? In case you didn't know, let's bring this up. And I'm just curious myself where Bitcoin is sitting at right now. If you do assets by market cap, look at Bitcoin is right under Tesla. They're neck and neck, number 9 and number 10, right? Bitcoin is above Facebook once again, above Alibaba, above Berkshire Hathaway, which is owned by Warren Buffett and all these guys, right? Bigger than Visa, bigger than JP Morgan, bigger than Walmart, right? And as Bitcoin climbs up, as Tesla climbs up, these guys up here, you know, they got to watch out. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Microsoft traditionally has been pretty pro on Bitcoin and blockchain. Just haven't gone all in. But just the amount of money with these companies, not including an oil company, but Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, just with them, they have close to $1 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. $1 trillion that could be entering into Bitcoin. Of course, not all in right away. If it did, that would be crazy. Bitcoin would be $1 million the next day. But even if they put 5% of that, 5% of that, what is that? That's $50 billion? No, $500 billion? No, 50. I don't even know. I don't know the math. It's 50 or 500 billion, but it's a lot of money if they put 50 billion probably. That would be a lot of money that's flowing into Bitcoin, and that could all be coming. But anyways, Bitcoin is climbing up again. It is more than half of silver. So a lot of people anticipate Bitcoin will be equal to gold at very least, if not more. So it'll take Bitcoin to get up to about 600,000 to equal 12 trillion in market cap. 600,000 is below $1 million. Can that happen? It could happen. It could happen. Just look at it. It's already more than half of silver. And this is not just physical silver. This is paper silver too. All the derivatives of silver, futures, options, and anything else that relates. All the leverage, everything. This is the entire market cap of silver, and Bitcoin is already more than half. So that flip is about to come, and then afterwards, you know what? The next flip will be with gold. So very exciting. This is the very start of it all. Start of it all. Now, not everyone is happy about Bitcoin's rise, including Peter Schiff, who continues to sit on the sidelines, and now is just really making a fool of himself. This is his latest tweet from this morning. Now that air is coming out of GameStop bubble, it's time for the company to change its name to BitStop. Then it could sell its overpriced shares into the market and use the proceeds to load up on Bitcoin. Then BitStop can moon along with Tesla and MicroStrategy. Yeah, this guy is just really, 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 really salty at this point. And the tweet before this was how he was trying to tell people that Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin. So he's just really, really salty about Bitcoin. I mean, pretty soon, he declared his son started buying Bitcoin. Pretty soon, his son is going to equal or exceed his wealth because of his ignorance or stubbornness or naiveness. I don't know. So not everyone is a fan of Bitcoin skyrocketing, and not everyone is a fan of Tesla and MicroStrategy. Peter just wants to pick on all these fights that he can't win, and he continues to lose because while everyone else is getting richer and richer and richer off of Bitcoin, guess who's not? Guess who is not getting richer? And actually, guess whose gold is devaluing just like cash. Well, it's Peter Schiff, because gold has not moved at all. Now, besides these guys, I gotta talk about these two clips I just found from this morning. This was when Tesla just announced. Hold on, I'm plugging. This is when Tesla just announced that they bought Bitcoin, and these guys were like, "Oh my God, you know, how could they do this?" They were like so bearish. I didn't get it. Why? They were like trying to like turn this into a very negative thing for Tesla. So I want to play for this, you guys, and let's discuss this. All right, let me get this ready. Let's do this.
Tesla, in a new filing, says that they've updated their investment policy to provide them with more flexibility to, are you ready for this, be able to buy Bitcoin. We have invested an aggregate $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, the company says, under this policy, and may acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or longer term. Moreover, we expect to begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future, the company says, subject to applicable laws and initially on a limited basis. We'll see what that means, which we may or may not liquidate upon receipt. That would be similar to what PayPal is doing in terms of how it transacts with merchants. This could be another, I mean, we're watching Bitcoin move up on the back, I imagine, of this news. I don't know how quickly it's getting into the public realm right now.
I would just throw an extra point then to the discussion we were just having, which is, and we don't know this, but there's an added irresponsibility to push up a stock if you're also benefiting from it. I don't know if Dogecoin was one that Tesla bought, but there's definitely a correlation effect with the Bitcoins of this world, and I'd have to go back through all of his tweets, but maybe Musk has also tweeted to push up the price of Bitcoin in the last couple of months. But
well, he was in just a few weeks.
This guy doesn't know anything. He's like chiming in, and he didn't know anything about the history of Elon, like what he's been tweeting. He's just spewing out garbage right now.
Weeks ago, in fact, he had Bitcoin. He had added the symbol to his profile on Twitter, and was doing a lot of things around Bitcoin that seemed to kind of push up Bitcoin at one point. That was just in the last couple of weeks. It was last week when he took the Bitcoin symbol out of his profile and then started pushing Dogecoin instead. I think the question I would also ask here is how his investors feel about this. Bitcoin has been a big performer, but it's also been an incredibly volatile holding. If you've been watching this, it's back at almost $40,000 now, but it can drop thousands of dollars in a day. Ron Barron has been a longtime investor in Tesla, and I'd wonder what he thinks about this, too. Is he okay with them having $1.5 billion?
Why do it? I mean, he could not possibly have had a better 12 months, Elon Musk. He could not possibly have dreamt to be in the position he's in today, where his company does not have any chance of going bankrupt, any chance of running out of...
Why do it? What does the investors think? Well, if Tesla stock is going up, yeah, they're going to love it, right? What is this guy trying to do? What were they both trying to do? They're trying to make the situation so negative. This is a positive thing for not only Tesla. He just said Tesla had an amazing year. Well, guess what? They're going to have another amazing year. Maybe because of this. Why are you questioning it so much? Come on.
The cash, it's worth... Gosh, I forget the number, 800 billion. He's worth 200 billion. Why on earth do this? Why take the risk?
But if you're Gary Gensler this morning, the nominee to run the SEC, and you're waking up and reading this news and this filing saying this took place in January 2021, that they changed their investment policy. Meantime, you're watching Elon Musk over the last 3 weeks pump Bitcoin and other digital cryptocurrencies. I think there's a question mark of what's going on here from the start, meaning if I would bet by the end of the day there will be an inquiry of some sort. I'm not suggesting wrongdoing per se, but you're going to start to raise some questions about what was being said publicly on one end, what was being done privately, because clearly something inside Tesla, there were decisions being made inside Tesla to buy this. I think it just raises all sorts of questions. You look, I could see somebody make the argument that that he was tipping off the public in a good way to get ahead of this. But I could also see people argue that this is another form of market manipulation.
And this is someone who's had clashes with the SEC before and had restrictions on his tweets imposed on him before. I want to know what every single Tesla board member thinks about this. They presumably had to vote to approve this decision because the filing says that they had to change the rules to allow them to have more flexibility.
Yes, the board members had to go along with it. It's not like they just did it out of air. But you can see how they're turning this narrative again, right? Did Elon pump Bitcoin? Is it due to all this and this? The SEC's going to investigate, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. This is why Michael Saylor probably shared his playbook with Elon, because he probably went through the same thing, right? Because he bought an enormous amount of Bitcoin. So I'm sure this is the reason why when they buy, they spread out their buys, they make sure that Bitcoin doesn't pump, right? This is probably the exact reason why they have to do it that way. And you know what? If Michael Saylor is in the clear, if he somehow figured out how to do it, and Michael Saylor talks about Bitcoin nonstop all the time, and all eyes are on MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, right? This is a non-problem. But again, they have to bring it up because it's Elon, because it's Tesla, because it's Bitcoin. They have to poo-poo on it, right? They want to just bring down the whole celebration, I guess. But this is how it is. But I just want to show you guys that I was actually kind of surprised by this. I thought they've been turning more. They've been more open-minded recently about Bitcoin overall. They brought a lot of guests. Had Anthony Pompliano on many times, and Paul Dodor Jones. All these guys have been saying very good things about Bitcoin. And now this happens, and they're like, "Oh no, this is stupid. Why is Tesla doing this? Why are they risking it? What about the SEC? Are to go after them? Did the investors approve? Did the board members approve? Of course, this has all happened. What are you guys doing? But anyways, all right. So before I get in Q&A, two other things I want to share with you guys. Number one is overall market cap was at 1.3 billion. No, trillion with a T, not B. So obviously it's not just Bitcoin today. Altcoins are also rocketing up due to this news, right? So look at Ethereum, 12%, Cardano, 20%, up 100% basically within the last week. Polkadot up 19%. Binance Coin, Litecoin, Chainlink, even Dogecoin is still at 8 cents, up 19%, up 100% for the week, right? Aave is back in charge, 23%. Uniswap is up too, and you could see today is not just Elron. Today, Theta, these are, basically Terra. Terra's on a freaking. They are going to land on the moon, really. But yeah, these are really, 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 really good pumps throughout the entire market. So that is good. Now, one last thing I want to make a comment on is Dogecoin. Now, a lot of people know that Dogecoin has been pumped up to the moon recently. Yesterday, there was rumors that there may be a Super Bowl commercial that didn't happen, but regardless, Dogecoin was pumped up almost to 9 cents, came back down 6 cents, and then now it's holding at 8 cents. Has my perception changed right now of Dogecoin? Well, that was my point yesterday. Is when you have a group of people that believe in it, that will hold it, and cause more people to FOMO in, then the price is going up, regardless if it has utility or not. That could be said about anything, about Chainlink, about Litecoin, about Polkadot, about Cardano, right? If you have a group of people that believe in it, that believe that it is going to the moon, and they will not sell it no matter what, it will get there someday. Now, has my perception changed of Dogecoin after this announcement? Yes. And the reason being is right now, Elon said that they will be accepting Bitcoin as a payment in the near future, right? I have no doubt that Elon is thinking about adding Dogecoin as a payment mechanism too. So I don't know who they plan on using, what service they plan on using to convert that to cash, right? to accept their Bitcoin and any crypto and convert it to cash. Or maybe they won't convert it to cash, but I'm pretty sure they will. But whoever, I'm pretty sure it's not just going to be Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bitcoin and Dogecoin and maybe a few others, but I'm almost certain that Dogecoin will be added. I'm just throwing it out there right now. And you know what? For people that say Dogecoin has no utility, well, pretty soon you'll be able to buy a Tesla with it. That's the ultimate utility. So I'm just throwing that out there. I think Dogecoin is here to stay. I don't think they're going to drop below a cent like a lot of people think it will. I think Dogecoin could take a correction. You could see that it has jumped up tremendously. Can it fall back down to 5 cents, 4 cents, 2 cents? Yeah. But for people that think it's going to drop down to like these levels, I don't think that's going to happen anymore with the Elon effect. And I do think that Tesla will open up Dogecoin in the near future too. So just want to share with you guys. Right now, you could bank it. When it happens, then you guys could credit me for it. So I'm just going to tell you right now that is going to happen. All right. All right. That's pretty much it. Let me turn to you guys for some Q&A. Jeffrey, just saw your super chat. Didn't mean to ignore you. Appreciate it. I saw a few other people that had super chats earlier today. Thank you. Alchemist. Well, yeah, I told you about XRP. I told you it's been painful to hold XRP, but you know what? This lawsuit is not going to help them. So I'm glad to see you made a lot with Doge recently. Jake, it's all Patreon now. Patreon is the new, the new service for those of you guys that want to support me. That's number one. But two, get some exclusive content. Then check out Patreon. One of the ones that has been pumping up like crazy, Terra. I've been telling you guys about it, but where did it go? Where'd it go? It was up here. Here we go. It's climbed to number 29. When I first covered them, when I first discovered them, and they were already pumping already, but when I looked into them, I really loved them. I created a newsletter within Patreon and posted it. Since then, it's been up like 170%, almost 200% within like a week and a half. So Terra, and I've been sharing with you guys on this channel too. Terra is a really good one. They're the real deal. They have true adoption. Because they were created by this South Korean group of businesses, let's say. They have proven themselves. They have traction. They have an app, and they're already utilizing Terra's stablecoin, and they have a lot of other things going for them. So I think they're still a fantastic project. They still have a lot of room to grow. But anyways, Jake, to answer your question, Patreon. XDAI, Jay says XDAI is undervalued. Is it? Is it really? What did it do? What did it do? POA Network has launched the first ever blockchain where native currency of the chain, USD stable, XDAI chain. Ethereum compatible sidechain as DAI is a native currency network that combines PO's interoperability knowledge and technology and makers out DAI. I don't know. That doesn't. They're in DeFi, and there's a ton of companies doing this already, so I'm not sure they are actually undervalued according to your thoughts, Jay. Can you look at L2 Dex Wars on Twitter? No, I prefer not to. I don't want to get into Twitter wars or anything. J Money, I appreciate it. This is actually low. I mean, yesterday during my Doge stream, it was like 2,600 or something. It's getting up there, and my views are getting up there. So definitely appreciate you guys tuning in and helping me grow. Horse, Elon is pumping BTC and Doge with tweets. Okay for SEC. Here's my thought, and people have said this too. How is it different? He already disclosed. At least he disclosed he has BTC, right? So how is it different than any CEO of any company or any fund or analyst that goes on CNBC and says, hey, I like this stock, or I think our companies go do well, or I think this is a good buy, or I think this is a good short. How is that any different? That's the whole thing that came out of the Wall Street bets, is that people are saying, oh, the SECs go after these guys. Well, people question, well, how is it different than, say, a Citibank analyst comes out and says, well, we really like Tesla, or we really like Amazon. Isn't that an endorsement for people to go buy those stocks? So how is that different than people talking about in a forum or people talking on Twitter, right? So that's the thing. That's the question mark. So they clearly have to define it. I mean, I'm sure the SEC is looking at it, especially after Wall Street bets. They have to look at what's legal, what's not, who should they go after, right? Because how is it any different than any analyst or CEO that goes on air and discusses anything? It's the same thing. Michael asked the graph. The graph is a good project. After looking them into more, I still need to do a deeper dive, but I get the concept of what they're doing, which is providing APIs for data retrieval for basically any blockchain company, and then making it really simple. And they're utilizing code that is universal, that kind of was started by Facebook. So they're actually a really good project. The one thing that concerns me is their circuit supply is really low compared to total supply, and that's because they're probably reserving it for future clients and future usage. So that's the only thing that may be holding them back a little bit. But outside of that, they're actually a really good project. Armando, why do you think VeChain hasn't gone up like other coins? Because they're primarily in China. So I think until China goes full-blown crypto, they're probably going to be held back a little bit. Where are they? Yeah, right here. They've been doing well, just not as well as some of the others. Still 2 billion market cap, but I think when China opens up fully, goes all digital, that's when VeChain will really explode. Shopping.io and TXL, they're going to rise. Well, I'll look at one of them. Let's see. Very small market cap. They're on probably Uniswap. Crypto shopping experience. Buy from Amazon, Walmart, and eBay with over 100 cryptocurrencies. Interesting. Welcome to Shopping.io, a new way to buy with crypto. Okay, so they're like a payment service of some sort. Choose your pricing plan, enjoy benefits. Yo, so you have to pay for this? Yeah, no. That just ruined it. That just ruined it completely. Why would you have plans for this? You just make it universal that you can pay with crypto. Yeah, that was just that just ruined it for me. So no. Hey, there we go. Tesla. All right, here we go. Fast Cheetah. I actually looked at, people have been asking about AMP because it's on Gemini, and I looked them up. Yeah, the Fluxa app basically allows people to spend crypto, and AMP basically is a middle token that allows transactions to happen without verification. Like with Bitcoin right now, you gotta wait 10 minutes. So Fluxa kind of in the middle, where they utilize the AMP as a collateral, and it takes care of it. Basically, transactions are instant. I just don't know how much traction Fluxa really has. It's one thing to claim they're in 40,000 retail locations. It's another to actually see if people are actually using it, and I can't verify that at all. So, I mean, AMP sounds fine, but, you know, whether or not they have true adoption, I don't know. I don't know. Does Aave have 19 million max cap? Some say site. Well, if CMC is wrong, then I don't know. But CMC is pretty accurate for the most part. Oh, shoot, I closed it. I will tell you what does have a set supply. I think Aave should, but according to this... Oop, I don't want to click that. Yeah, they have a total supply of 16 million. It's just that they haven't reached there yet. So there's still a little more they need to release, but outside of that, they have a total supply. That's also very good. In terms of creating a store value, you want things that won't inflate infinitely, right? So they do have a supply. Another reason why I think Maker started going up like crazy is people realize the same thing about Maker. Maker is actually already at 100% supply. 99% is already released. So that is also pretty big. Basically, the amount of Maker token. Maker has a dual token setup, DAI and Maker, but basically the number of Maker tokens is already gone, right? It's already out there. There's no more. And Maker does have the most liquidity of any DeFi project out there, even higher than Aave. So that's why they've been going up like crazy too. I think Maker is actually a good pickup too. No one's talking about Tezos. Yeah, I was looking them up too. I don't know what's going on with Tezos. I actually don't. Looks like they were trying to transit into DeFi, sort of. But really, I don't know of any other progress to them. How about Pedro asks, how about China uses VET technology and not VET? That's basically impossible. If you're going to utilize their blockchain or any apps that's running on top, you're going to need to utilize VET. So, I don't know about that. Thoughts on USDC running on a Stellar network? Does anyone care? That's what I want to know. USDC is opening up on a lot of networks. But does anyone really care at this point for that stablecoin? What is that really going to do? CNBC said ETF for Bitcoin to expect in 2021. I think so. As Bitcoin gets bigger and bigger and more companies buy into Bitcoin, it's basically too hard to say, no, we don't allow it, we don't trust it, there's too much manipulation, especially now that Tesla's involved. And you know other companies are going to get in, right? And when they get in, it's just going to be avalanche. Soon, Apple is going to get in. And then soon, Amazon is going to get in. So after these big tech companies start buying Bitcoin, can the SEC really say no to a ETF? No, I think they're going to say yes. And then when the ETF gets approved, you're going to have more people, retail investors and institutional investors, buy into Bitcoin because, you know, that's an indirect way to get involved with Bitcoin. And ETFs are better than futures because they basically, the fund companies have to buy Bitcoin, just like Grayscale has to buy Bitcoin to allow the selling of shares, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares. ETF companies, fund companies will have to do that too. They have to buy Bitcoin to be able to offer the funds out, the ETFs out, I should say. So, yeah, I think that's going to be huge too. But I think next up, besides Bitcoin, besides Tesla buying Bitcoin, next up is going to be Apple, and then next up is going to be Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's in that order too, and I'm pretty sure it's sooner than later. And all these companies have so much money on hand, billions upon billions upon billions. It's insane how much cash they have on hand, and they can't do anything with it. They can't do anything with it. They're so restricted in terms of what they could do with that cash. So the only thing right now they do is buy back more stock. They buy back more stock to please the shareholders, or they increase their dividend. That's the only thing they could do, because someone like Apple can't just go around and buy every company out there because the government will say, no, you can't do that. And they can't just go, okay, we're going to buy $300 billion worth of gold. Their stock will tank if they announce that. So what are they going to do? They go, of course, invest in technology, right? things where there's no antitrust issues. So that would probably be Bitcoin. So they're going to buy it. They're going to allow probably Bitcoin trading to be conducted, and they're going to allow Apple Pay to conduct Bitcoin and crypto payments. And then Amazon, easy for them. Just open it up, allow anyone to utilize Bitcoin and crypto as payments. That's coming, right? So it's all lining up. This is just the beginning. Horse asked, do you prefer ETH over ADA? That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. ADA, Cardano has so much traction right now, but you can't sleep on Ethereum. Ethereum is the big dog of the space when it comes to protocols. I know Cardano is trying to catch up, right? But Ethereum has, they have their futures now. They have Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which a lot of people put money into. Now, if the Cardano Trust opens up and there's a flood of money coming in, then maybe. But right now, Ethereum, you can't sleep on them. So if you had to decide, I would say just split it 50-50 between the two. Carl. SkySafe, just mentioned about VeChain. Gotta wait. You gotta wait until China opens up, goes complete digital. Then VeChain will fly. I have heard of Hashgraph, and they do have an impressive clientele. But the thing is, first of all, I don't know. I gotta put my thoughts together. But I think Hashgraph is not going up because there was some concerns over the fact that it is not open sourced. It is owned by a company. There are a lot of enterprises that develop it, but whether or not they use HBAR, the token on top of it, is another story. Plus, as far as I can tell, they're not getting involved with DeFi, and that's the hottest thing right now. So there's a number of reasons why I think Hashgraph is not going up. All right, guys, that is it. Overall, it's a fantastic day. It's a beautiful day. Everyone's going to be talking about it. Tesla buying Bitcoin. I predicted a month ago, right? I knew this was going to happen, and I'm predicting it now that Apple and Amazon will follow very, very, very soon. Right? So I think this is monumental. Start of something. The relay race to $1 million for Bitcoin. And we will see Bitcoin have tremendous days after this. Right? Also, like I said, don't sleep on Dogecoin from now on. I think that the next step for Tesla, when they open up Bitcoin payments, right? They're going to open up Dogecoin payments too. I think that is coming. So, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. If you want more exclusive content, then check out my Patreon group. If you want a crash course on Bitcoin, check out my Teachable page. And make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you don't miss out on any of my new streams. All right. Brian, I don't get your question. Over the last two halving, what's the percentage increase of BTC and then factoring decrease? Byron, I don't know that question. I don't understand your question, so maybe my next stream you could ask it again. All right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.